Right. So of course, now your argument is that, well, that's only one particular definition of homelessness. And so there are other people that would believe that you were not homeless if you were in a homeless shelter, because only the McKinney people think that that makes you no longer homeless. You are wrong. You are wrong. Staying in a homeless shelter means that you are still homeless. You are in an emergency shelter for the homeless. You do not automatically become housed just because you have a bed to sleep in an emergency shelter. Okay? From your logic, a homeless person could take shelter in a church during a storm and then decide that that was their permanent residence because they had shelter there at one point. No. Yes, I was in a homeless shelter. At that time, I was still homeless. Homeless shelters are still homeless. Nobody is housed in a homeless shelter. That's the point. It is an emergency short-term stay. It is nobody's permanent housing. That's why if you're in a homeless shelter, you are still considered homeless. Because if they change that to say, well, she was housed for a month, well, then the whole homeless thing gets taken away and you don't get assistance anymore. Living in a homeless shelter means that you are still homeless. Period. Living in a homeless shelter in any state would still mean you are still homeless. Living in a homeless shelter does not change your housing status. Y'all don't understand what homelessness means. You don't understand what shelters are. You don't understand that my living in a truck is not having a home. And it's frustrating as fuck to me because I've been doing this for 5 years. I was in a truck, I was in tents, and y'all are just trying to discredit all of that by creating your own narrative. Your narrative is that the month I was in a homeless shelter, I wasn't really homeless. That's not the narrative for literally anybody else that knows anything about homelessness or homeless shelters or emergency shelters. It says right here, those living in emergency shelters are considered homeless. The shelter I was in, all homeless shelters are emergency shelters. So, y'all just keep making up your own theories and then passing them off as the truth. This is what you believe. It doesn't mean it's the truth. I'm showing you the truth. You decided to deny it and put your own in and then live off of that. Your argument that I wasn't homeless because I was in a homeless shelter is asinine. Absolutely asinine. You could Google in any state and find out that being in a shelter does not change the fact that you are homeless. So, let's just, these people that hate me, they don't understand homelessness. They hate marijuana. They hate titties. What are you? Like, seriously, what are you? You hate weed, you hate titties, you don't understand what homelessness is, you don't understand what a drug addict is because you call me a drug addict for smoking marijuana, which is retarded. Nobody, a real drug addict would be using a lot more than fucking marijuana, alright? And yeah, I just used the word retarded and now y'all are gonna hate on me because I use that. Fuck you.